Why did the U.S. Navy make a secret deal with the Mafia during World War II? After the attack on Pearl Harbor and the U.S. entry into World War II, the U.S. military faced a serious problem with port security. Fearing sabotage and espionage by enemy agents, the U.S. Navy made the unorthodox decision to seek help from the Italian Mafia. In early 1942, an incident occurred that seriously worried the military commanders. In New York Harbor, the French liner Normandy, which had been converted into a military transport, was set on fire and sank. Although an official investigation determined that the fire was caused by accident, the military feared it was sabotage. U.S. East Coast ports were particularly vulnerable. Thousands of dockers, longshoremen, and harbor workers had daily access to military cargo and ships. Among them could have been enemy agents or sympathizers of the Axis countries. Traditional counterintelligence methods proved ineffective in this environment. In this situation, Navy Lieutenant Charles Haffenden proposed an unconventional solution. He knew that the port areas of New York were under the complete control of the Italian Mafia, especially the Luciano family. No serious operation could be carried out without their knowledge. Lucky Luciano, the boss of the most powerful Mafia family, was serving a 30-year sentence in prison at the time. Through intermediaries, Haffenden made contact with him and offered him a deal. In exchange for help in protecting the ports, the authorities promised to relax the prison regime and consider the possibility of early release. Luciano agreed to cooperate. He ordered his men to give full support to the military in securing the ports. The Mafia established tight control over all port workers, effectively thwarting any attempts at sabotage or espionage. The crime syndicate established an extensive network of informants among the port workers. Any suspicious actions or conversations were immediately reported to the authorities. The mobsters also made sure that no military cargo or equipment was stolen. The collaboration proved so successful that the Navy expanded its scope. When the Allies were preparing to land in Sicily in 1943, American intelligence turned to Luciano for help. Mafia connections helped establish contacts with the Sicilian underground, which provided invaluable support during Operation Husky. Local mafiosi provided the American troops with detailed maps of the island, information on the location of German units and fortifications. They organized a network of guides who assisted Allied reconnaissance teams and provided support to the local population. After the successful landing in Sicily, the American military authorities appointed many local mafiosi to administrative positions. Their influence and authority helped to quickly restore order and establish civil administration in the liberated territories. For his services, Lucky Luciano received the promised reward. In 1946, New York Governor Thomas Dewey, the same one who had previously sent him to prison, signed a decree pardoning the mob boss. True, with the condition of immediate deportation to Italy. The U.S. Navy's cooperation with the Mafia during the war remained a state secret for a long time. Only in the 1970s did researchers gain access to declassified documents that shed light on this unusual page of history. The consequences of this alliance, however, were far-reaching. The Mafia's assistance to the U.S. war effort greatly strengthened the position of the crime syndicates in the post-war period. They received tacit support from some government circles and were able to expand their influence. This was particularly strong in Italy, where the U.S. occupation authorities actually contributed to the restoration of Mafia power in Sicily. Many of the officials they appointed had connections to the underworld and used their positions to strengthen Mafia structures. In the United States, the Mafia also benefited from its military cooperation with the government. Some high-ranking officials and politicians found themselves indebted to the crime bosses for their patriotic services during the war. This created a complex system of mutual obligations and compromises. The Italian Mafia's influence in American ports, strengthened during the war years, persisted for decades to come. Dockers' unions remained under the control of criminal syndicates, which used them for various illegal operations. The story of the U.S. Navy's cooperation with the Mafia during World War II remains one of the most controversial episodes of that period. On the one hand, it helped to secure strategically important facilities and contributed to the success of military operations. On the other hand, the alliance with the underworld had serious negative consequences for the post-war development of both the United States and Italy. It strengthened organized crime and set dangerous precedents for state cooperation with criminal structures. What do you think about this?